Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly, and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go all in WTO. We love AI-driven health solutions mixed with financial shenanigans.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check and it's gone.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Laughing Stock. I'm Redneck Johnny and I have Dayne with me today. How are you, Dayne?
Good. How is everybody?
You are back on your boat, I can see.
Yeah, great day to get out there. So I figured I would just start right off on the water.
Enjoying the end of the summer.
Yeah, it's Labor Day here in the States, so this is our last hurrah here. I mean, technically summer goes wherever in September, but yeah, this is when I feel like it starts to cool off. Yesterday was 90 degrees here, or whatever that is in Celsius. I think it's like 34 or 35 Celsius. So
sounds nice.
It was hot.
Yeah. Another thing that sounds nice is WTO, right? This Chinese company that has fallen like 90% in a week, and they had to put up a statement like management and the board was like, we don't know what's going on, but we're going to investigate it. And it's based in China, and I think they said they were going to take some legal actions if they figure out there was some insider leaking information or something like that. They were going to look into some short sellings and stuff like that. Just like, it's what you want in a stock, right?
Yeah, basically, and that pretty much just goes to show you that there's a lot of paper hands. You got to be diamond hands.
Yeah.
This just because you're down 90%, that doesn't mean you just, get nervous and walk away.
Yeah, no.
These
So
kind
this
of
is
things,
when this is when we go in. We go all in on these levels, and actually on this time, if it turns out to be some shenanigans going on, it could be it could bounce up again. You have seen it before.
Yeah, I'm sure there is shenanigans going on, but to what extent, it's hard to say. But yeah, you never know. These kind of things, they can get that because it's like kind of that massive drop. It could bounce right back up. It's like a spring.
Yeah.
Reversion to the mean.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
So
it's actually had a pretty impressive chart since May.
Yeah, and I haven't pulled it up today, but I saw before the stream it was it's painful to watch those drops. Like it's just like a waterfall.
Yeah, I will say historically, I mean, at least for the past few months, it's been a massive gainer.
I think actually they had some news about acquiring some stuff, and in the video I said like AI, what was it, health something. So they are they are in the right market, I think, for they know what buzzwords to use. So
And that's the kind of thing that's going to make you a good company. Buzzwords.
Yeah. Yeah, but what do you think about the week in general? I think it has been a little bit of a roller coaster, and I think maybe yesterday you got some moves, but all in all, somewhat neutral, I think.
Yeah. It's been a kind of a back and forth week for me. I would say overall it was okay, but I ended up dropping out of Maxon because I got stop lossed out of Maxon, but which it sucked because that was I should have just gotten rid of that position. I was playing hopeful, which I've now said officially after Maxon it's the last time I'm playing hopeful. I could have got out of that before and should have, and it wasn't for like a loss really. Kind of that one kind of broke even for those shares. My initial sell of Maxon had made me money, so that it was like kind of whatever. It was like a mixed bag, but IMMR started to bounce back off the lows. The only thing is it's tough to say if that one's going to come all the way back up. I don't know if you have the chart, but it did seem to find a bit of a bottom, and it had a good little pop. Someone bought shares. I think one of the like the directors bought shares. So it was a pretty big drop. I was actually kind of surprised after such a big earnings beat, but we'll see what it actually does for the stock. I wonder how high it will go out. I might try and just average out of this position because this was really before I started I don't know, like right before I like this new swing strategy that I'm using is kind of right before there. So it is a large position for me still though. And it's gotten larger because of this bounce back up. So I'll probably start to trim that just because I don't want it to be as big as it is, because right now it's a 25% position and I really don't want it that big. So if it continues to go up a little bit, I'll probably hop out. Just because, like I said, and I'll go out over time. We'll see what it does. I still have a position in CLW. I opened another position, I should say, in CLW because I thought that looked decent, and it's kind of been back and forth. It hasn't quite worked out yet. I opened a position in IMPP. Henrik was talking about it, and I kind of liked how it was looking, so I did that one. I've been in Bluebird. I took a position there, which was electric buses. After the stream last week, I did take a position in Vox. I opened another position in Curie, which has actually been working out. And Curie, I just went based on the chart, kind of what I've been looking for the swing setup. And Curie's been like a pretty good example of what I've been trying to do.
Yeah. No, so you have made a lot of changes to your portfolio then, and for me this week, I talked about it on Thursday, but Mastercraft had their earnings report, which was actually a beat, which was very good to see, I think. But then they had a worse forward guidance for 2025 than what the analyst had expected by quite a bit too. So it sent the price down almost all the way to 18. And now it's it got a little bit back up again, so now it's at the 8.5. But I mean, like, I'm not too worried, to be honest. I think this was a little bit expected because the whole thesis is that they are in a struggling cycle right now, with low buying power. The sales has plummeted, but they still beat the estimates. But it's real, like the sales are down a big percentage. But I mean, this is why I went into it, and I'm still on the plus side. I'm gonna keep holding it and also track what Coliseum are doing, because they haven't done anything as far as I am aware. And if the market didn't like a little bit of a worse outlook for 2025, I'm okay with that for now. But of course, if it's continued to drop, I have a stop loss, so I will probably be stopped out and then just monitor the situation and maybe get back in at a lower level. But I wasn't too scared right now, to be honest. And I also think some of the comments management made on the call was in line with what I have been thinking and seeing for fundamental numbers for business. Because they were saying like we are very well positioned when this cycle will turn around, and it will turn around at some point, you know. And you know, they have this cash position, so I think they are in good place. They have also done some strategic decisions now with some asset exchange, and they got rid of some part of the business that they have been losing money on, and now they are focusing on something else again. So they are narrowing down the focus a bit, and I think now they're gonna get some high margins and all that because their productions are gonna be more controlled by them. So no, I wasn't too scared. This was a bit expected, and like I said, they did beat the analyst estimates. So all in all, not bad in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it does kind of stink that the forward guidance went down, but yeah, I imagine this is going to be a bit of a longer hold on if the guidance is down right now, and the stock price will probably kind of just bounce around here.
Yeah.
It might turn into, you know, regardless of whether you're more of an investor or a trader, I would imagine you can trade it as it bounces around, and as an investor, I agree with you. I think it's cyclical in a tough spot. So as the more of an investor style, I would just continue to average down when you can.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not a new news, you know, that they are in a struggling cycle right now. This is why
we've been
it was
saying that for a while.
interesting, huh?
Right. No, we've been saying that for a while, and I think we
Yeah.
were just more impressed that even in this cycle of, you know, a rough spot, that they were still doing decent.
Yeah. So the thesis there has always been they need to keep the company going, and then when things turn, let's see what happens then. And if it doesn't drop way below 18 or 17 until then, I'm comfortable sitting in here. And this is my third largest position right now in my portfolio, but I only have 3 stocks, but I'm looking to add one more, you know. But so it's the smallest one in my portfolio, but it's also one of the ones I have been keeping for well, I think I bought this just before the summer.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just wanted to, because I was a bit curious on what the price was going. I think it dropped 6% on Thursday, and it held up pretty good until like the last half an hour. Then it dropped to 6%. It was at -3 before that, I think. And then you see on Friday, not a big move at all. So I'm comfortable here right now. Huh?
I'm just looking. I said I'm just looking at the chart previously, and having a 5% move for them. I mean, that happens almost daily for them. So a 5 to 6% move, really, it's not that big of a deal with a company that's this volatile. It's kind of all over the place, to be honest. Looking at the chart.
Yeah. I saw some. What do you think about this, Dayne? I saw one. I don't believe that this is happening a lot, but I saw one comment that one guy was thinking. Because there was a big move one day down, I think, and it was at the same time that the Microsoft was moving, and he said like, "Oh, this must be because of people are mixing up the tickers." Do you think that is actually going on?
I don't think so. I don't think that's enough of it, but you know, maybe one nut job messed it up, but I would think not. I would hope not. I hope if you're in the markets and you're making a big enough move that you make a ticker drop that you know what the ticker is.
Yeah, but you know, I've heard stories. I've heard stories before that they type in the wrong number when they're going to buy, and like these big fonts even, and they mess up the purchase, you know.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say something similar. I was like, I know people have said like, oh, I meant to buy this and I bought the wrong ticker because I typed it in and like just bought real quick.
Yeah.
So I can see you making a mistake just because you're rushing and trying to click something quick.
Yeah.
I've definitely made mistakes because of my phone. My stupid phone has definitely not helped me at times. Trying to do stuff on your phone is like a terrible idea, but sometimes there's nothing I can do. I'm not near a computer and trying to make a decision real quick.
Yeah. I see Values in here. Dayne is saying hi to us. Hi, Value.
Value, how you doing, man? Hope all is well.
What is
I'm
Notex doing?
I'm just gonna say I was eagerly watching NotX because it had a bit of a pullback finally. Um,
Yeah,
so this is an interesting play in terms of even swing trading now, because typically when you have this kind of giant move here, there's so many people that pile onto this stock, and as it goes up in price, it allows bigger and bigger people to become interested in it. And typically you'll see this price pull back and kind of trade sideways for a while, and then you'll kind of watch it spring load where there's really not enough sellers to kind of offset the amount of buyers who are now becoming interested in it, and that's where you'll watch it kind of pop again. So my goal with NutX going forward is, because I agree with value, I like the business, I didn't want to hop in at the wrong time. And to be honest, the last time I was really thinking of hopping in was like probably like a week within the last week, and that's right when it flattened out. So I was glad I did not take that position, because I was like, yep, that's you doing the right thing. Wait until you missed it initially, it's all good. Wait until it comes back, you'll get another chance. So I'm
yeah,
gonna eagerly keep an eye on this one to see if I can find a dip to hop in on.
yeah. And I know Value is waiting on our Discord channel, Dane. And yesterday you joined the Discord, and we are like we are just gonna fine tune a few things, and we are aiming to release it and put out some links maybe in a week time or so.
Yes.
And then everything will hopefully be ready. We just need to add a couple of things and go through it like before we open it up for everyone, you know. So it's soon gonna come.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good place to just kind of bounce ideas around, and um, in terms of for the stream and stuff like that. Sometimes we're like, hey, can you guys, if anyone wants to have us look at a ticker, but during the week, there's all kinds of times that people are going to be looking at tickers and say like, oh, I wish I would have remembered to ask for that one, or there's even tickers that I kind of go over a little bit, and I kind of forget that I went through them during the week, but just not on the stream. So it's a good place to probably make like a list of things to keep an eye on. And another place too that I'm hoping we can be even more transparent than just when you're watching the stream, in terms of like, I'll say what my watch list is, kind of what I'm interested in. You have a spot for our portfolios on there too, right?
Yeah, that we need to. The plan is to like update it regularly, so people can at any time see what we have done. You know, in the days between the streams as well.
Right, because the other thing too is like on here, even today, since I'm not hosting this, like people don't get to see my portfolio. So I would like to in the future keep it updated on there, so then people can really see my time frame and stuff like that. So because I do want to be transparent, because I know there's so many frauds out there in terms of like people with their positions and whatnot like that. So like it'd be nice to have it on there where it's updatable, and at least like once a day I can update it so people can see exactly what I'm doing,
Yeah. And I'm thinking like I have posted my position there already, and I was thinking should I add the percentage of the thing also. I decided to not do that, because the point for me at least is just to get the tickers out, because like we have said, sometimes we do these swing trades, and then I don't want to sit there and have to calculate the percentage and everything and add that too. But you can do what you want,
Yeah.
Dane, but I'm just going to post the actual tickers that I'm involved in.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Sorry, man. I'm like sneezing like crazy. Hey, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna use the bathroom real fast. All right.
Yeah, all good. Now we can go continue with some charts, but I also saw that in Mastercraft, I'm tracking Coliseum if they do something now after a little bit of a drop again and new information in earnings, and so far it seems like they have done nothing. They had their last purchases at 1949, which was 2 million, pretty big. So I'm just tracking them as well to see what they are doing here. But yeah, and we can go through the dashboard as well. This is from Friday. As you can see, internet had big move down actually, but other than that, not too much to talk about, I think. Pretty normal. And we started the stream by saying the week has been a little bit up and down, but in the end it ended a little bit you know, at the same levels that it started with, but I'm sure something has bounced though. And I think the plan for the stream today is to go through some tickers that we have found through the daily movers, and screening by the charts from the daily movers, and also from my tracker sheet. So there's going to be some familiar names today, together with a couple of new ones. But I think a few tickers in the tracker sheet now starts to maybe look a little bit interesting, at least. And I saw some of them have kind of reached where I have put in like a good enter price. So yeah, I just wanted to update myself on those as well. If you saw my stream on Thursday, you saw that I haven't been able to really pay too close attention this week. It's been very busy, and I think next week for me will be busy as well. So we will see how it goes. But then I can update myself during the stream, which is good, you know. Yeah, but that's the thing, I think. And we have the tickers here. One is a little bit you know, not typical for the stream. This is Intel, which is you know, big company. What's going on here? And I think they look good on the chart right now, and they did have a 10%, almost a 10% move up on Friday, which is big, huge for these people, you know. But if we can pull up the chart here and see, sometimes these bigger type of companies would be interesting now that we are focusing also more on the charts and the indicators here. And this is a 5-year weekly chart, and you can see it did break in below here on the Bollinger Band, and then it is going up, you know, but also it has like every other week up and down here a bit, and you know, you can argue it's going a little bit sideways as well. But the RSI has turned here from this low here, which is interesting. It had a similar drop here, you know, and then it did trade sideways for a bit. And if you sold here again above the Bollinger Band, you could have trimmed your position or sold completely out before this other drop. But also, you know, as a little bit of a rule, these earnings can be dangerous at times. So maybe then when that's going to be hard though, because when you see it comes up here on a big move before earnings, you might take it as a sign of how the market are expecting good earnings, and you might just trim instead of selling completely out. But in hindsight, which is easy to say now, you should of course have sold that. But now you got this drop, and it's on the bounce again, and the RSI is turning around. You can see the MACD is starting to turn around. If we go into the 1 year daily here, it starts to look really promising. You see MACD crossed over here, and the stochastic had a big bounce up here, and another big bounce up here. The RSI is a little bit slower, but did cross up here, and it did fell a little bit down under the moving average here. Even if the MACD was still positive, it did break down. So again, a bit tricky to, as long as the MACD is positive here, I think you should not do anything until you start to see this break below it. And now everything has broken above the, crossed over the lines, you know, and yeah, even if it's a big company, this looks pretty good. Also on a 5-year, you know, so just paying attention to it. Not a typical company for the stream at all. This is on almost 100 million in market cap, and you know the fundamentals looks very steady and good, and you know you like it, but it's for another portfolio, I think. Not necessarily this stream. What was the news actually? I'm not paying too much attention to these types of companies, so I'm not updated on this. Wrong sell recommendation from yesterday. But you need to think different when you. Hey, Dayne, I'm talking about Intel now, and just like it's a little bit of a different company than usually we have on the stream. But I've just gone through the charts. And do you know the news on this?
Well, Intel I think came out with kind of like weaker guidance going forward, and they cut a huge amount of employees. So I think it was that, you know, this being one of the bigger tech companies, most people thought this was going to kind of continue up, just, you know, not necessarily in the range that, you know, you're going to see like an Nvidia or something like that, but just as a big tech company, you know, should follow along suit. And this was one of the tech companies that pulled back hardest because of that news. I mean, if you're, you know, you're basically saying you're trimming down the size of your business because, you know, you're trying to get back on sound financial footing. The past 2 years have been pretty rough for them.
Yeah.
Just
but that was on the
compared to
earnings.
historical
Like
averages.
yesterday, it got up again like 10%. So maybe you start to see a bounce back here.
Hang on, let me pull up the chart here real quick.
Value saying Notex gave back a bit. Curie did well, and LUNR ran up on news and then dropped back down Friday. Would be good to be able to follow all users' portfolio somehow, see who else invests the same way. You mean for the Discord value? I mean,
I think that's a good idea. That'd be cool if all of us had to, if everybody put their portfolio on there so you could kind of see it live. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I know obviously people can lie, but no matter what, if you say on whatever day, Monday, that you bought these companies and by Friday they're all doing very well, then, you know, credence to you.
We can add like portfolio update channel in the Discord or something that people can, if they want to, they can just talk about their portfolios.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. That's a cool idea. INTC, I think on the chart looks really good right here.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of what I say. After the earnings drop, it's if it's not sideways, it's a little bit up, you know, and all the indicators on the 1 year daily chart is like rocketing up.
Yeah, I would say Intel here looks like a buy.
Yeah.
How high it's going to go, I don't know. I mean, in general too, it's a downtrend. So even though it's like a buy, it's not like a great setup. Like this would definitely be like a quick swing trade. I wouldn't pitch this. It's just, it got a little oversold here, and now some people are starting to probably just get back into it. It's a big company. It's not going anywhere. It's just not doing as well as people had hoped.
Yeah. And I mean the fundamentals, it's not, you know, of course this is a well-run company and they're doing good, and but you can
well, the
easily
last 2 years have been really ugly.
Yeah. And they are struggling with the free cash flow last 2 years.
But it trades below book.
Yeah, that was what I was going to. They do trade below book, and you can like it on other things as well. So and they have trimmed down the dividend in the last year. So you know they probably they're probably doing what they can to turn this around again. But if you just base it on the chart, this does look very interesting, even at these levels. And you have missed like a 10% from yesterday, but still I find it a bit like it screams buy on the chart, right?
Yeah. Patrick
Dayne,
Gelsinger has been slowly adding here.
Sorry?
And I said this Patrick Gelsinger guy, he just bought on 8.5 12,000 shares, which is about $250,000 worth at a price of $20.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good. I mean, he's been buying for a long time, but either way.
Yeah. However, in my data set, I only have like a 0.07 insider ownership. So They don't own a lot of shares here, but they have a lot of shares outstanding too, though.
I was gonna say that's a really big company.
Yeah. But
But I
okay.
mean, I feel like this stuff like kind of becomes like exponential. Like earnings aren't great, so a lot of like growth investors start to back out of this because they want high projections. The dividend comes down, so all the dividend investors like start to pull out because like they want like a certain amount of a dividend. So like these things kind of pull back, and then a bunch of us come in and look, and we're like, well, I mean, on a historical average, it's relatively cheap. Yes, they're definitely in a rough cycle right now. Like last year, they had negative earnings for the first time in forever. And this year they're back positive, but they're not by much. So
No.
there's definitely a huge area they need to work on. And I don't know enough about the business to say where that's going. So that would be the next step, is to look into more of that. But just based on the chart right here, this is a decent setup. I
Last
say
time it
decent,
was
not great.
this low was in 2013.
Yeah.
You know.
But
Yeah.
I will say the overall trend still looks down here. So
Yeah.
I think it's got room to go down still.
I think if you would take a position here, it would be short-term thinking.
This would probably be like a week.
Yeah.
Because like after this little pop right here, you're gonna get some follow through. And maybe it stays steady around there. I don't know. But we'll have to see. It's still, like I said, it's in quite a general downtrend.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't need to spend too much time on Intel because it's a little bit of a different company, but maybe we should go to Boom next, Dane.
All right.
I saw them, and they are from my tracker sheet, and I added them quite a bit ago, actually. And I screened by the charts too, so all these charts, is gonna look a little bit promising. In Boom's case, they've had the earnings, which made the stock price drop actually all the way down to almost 11, and it did break the Bollinger Band, but then it kept dropping a little bit and was moving sideways. But now, since a week ago, it has started to trend up again, and the fundamentals are not poor here.
Yeah, no, this one actually looks somewhat interesting here.
Yeah. And it does now currently trade at 10% towards the 52-week low. It's below book value, both tangible book and way below book value. They show up as safe in my sheet, but they do have some depth though. But and they don't have a lot of cash right now. So, and if you look at the share count, they have actually diluted since the pandemic quite a bit. So I don't know what you think of, but they do generate cash.
Yeah, I'm just going through.
And it seems like they took up the depth here in 22 to buy something, and maybe also raise cash through dilution, because they had a somewhat big acquisition right here.
Yeah, I will say though, I agree with you that the chart looks decent here.
Yeah. And
Whatever that means.
Even if you go to the 5-year, you can see it starts to come around again.
Right.
And also, it's been a long time since they were trading at these levels. So, and by the way, it's like an energy company in the oil and gas sector. Have you seen them before?
Yeah, I've looked at Boom before. I've liked Boom.
Yeah.
They've been paying their debt down pretty well too, which is one thing I like when you're able to. I think it's a smart
Yeah.
move. They
Yeah.
have a pretty clean balance sheet. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't hold a ton of cash, but that's just because of the nature of the business.
But they can almost cover the short-term debt with the cash they have right now. So I'm not worried about the debt here.
Yeah. No, but historically, decently profitable. They
Yeah.
definitely have some upswings and downswings.
I see the margins are, a little bit flat, maybe a little bit down now from last year.
Yeah.
And so is earnings, but this is why it trades probably close to the 52-week low here. And I think when they are like also below book value and they still generate pretty good free cash flow and they have control of the debt plus the chart, it starts to look interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not the cleanest chart in terms of but I think you could argue it's a buy here.
Yeah. Let's check on Seeking now if someone is last article is from June. It's a long article as well.
Yeah, this is a ways back. Even the comments.
Yeah. But he has been right so far.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading his
Want to check the guidance on the last earnings call. They're saying the results also were above the high end of our guidance range. So did they over deliver and it still fell?
possibly. It's not the first time. Yeah, tax rate loss 30%. Yeah, he's saying that right now it's trading at 9.6 today's EV based on a pretty decent discounted cash flow analysis. He's using enterprise value, but either way, he said he doesn't think it's unreasonable to say that the multiple should be closer to 14 times, which would imply an EV of 700, which is 88 million of today's debt, zero in net common interests, 163 in additional debt from the Acadia acquisition, and then adding the 20 million of today's cash. And then he's saying, the cash flow that they generate implies a market cap in 4-year 26 of 509 or $25 a share, which is twice today's stock price.
Yeah. So I found
maybe the start of a bullish scenario.
Yeah, I found a comment here from I think it's one of the it's one of the management. They're saying we see a dip in Q3 but a very strong Q4, and quite frankly not obviously providing guidance on 25 but pretty bullish on 25, and I think there's things shaping up on that 25% be a really good year. So I think they have guided for a little bit of a soft quarters now, a couple of quarters, and then maybe they are seeing some promising things after that. I don't know. Need to read a little bit more through this.
Yeah, overall though, it's still in quite a bit of a downtrend, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah. If you zoom out, they are. It's not looking.
It's not great. It's not great, Johnny.
it's it's not great. Nothing is great here now.
Yeah,
But
I
also,
would
you
say
see,
maybe as a quick position, you could try and trade this, but
yeah,
it's to me, it's there's not enough here.
yeah, okay,
I think this is gonna go up a little bit, and then it's gonna continue to drop a little bit more before. Who knows? I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe
yeah,
it does a little bit better in the long run, but it's tough to say.
yeah. But their earnings was in beginning of August. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see maybe after next earnings for Boom, what the guidance will be then when you're closer, maybe past a little bit of that soft 2 quarters they were talking about.
Right. No, I agree there.
All right. I have this will be a little bit of a shorter stream, right?
I just gotta be done by 8, so I mean, I
Yeah.
still got an hour.
So I'm thinking maybe we should move to MYPS next, and then maybe do TripAdvisor after that.
I'll follow your lead.
All right. So I think let me check here. I added these to the tracker. I don't think it's that long ago. Yeah, in July. And it's like a gaming company. They develop a game for I think mostly mobile phones.
Yeah, I vaguely remember going over this. I think we did this one together because I like vaguely remember it.
Okay, yeah, and they again with the with the chart. This now trades 5% to the 52-week low, so it's at some of the bottoms, and like boom, it dropped on earnings.
Yeah, I will say the fact that the earnings were pretty ugly this last year, the worst year that they've had. Yes, they have a great cash position and they don't have a ton of debt, but they have
Yeah,
diluted a little bit. And the fact that they're still not profitable, it makes me a little hesitant.
yeah, because this needs to, and they are not making any acquisitions or anything like that either. So,
I actually do have an acquisition from last year, 2023.
yeah, no, I do have the same, but I mean, sometimes when you see these companies, you see it every year,
True. They spent
I just
70 million on that too, which obviously hasn't panned out.
Yeah, but last time. Yeah. I mentioned the cash position. Oh, these are the. If you go to the insiders here, I think Microsoft owned them. The Microsoft
Gotcha.
sold shares worth 2 million in February.
Gotcha. I'll tell you what, the chart looks like shit.
Yeah.
It is not promising looking right now.
Set towards one.
That doesn't mean it
one.
can't, that's just the chart, but
No, and this has dropped like 30% since I added it. So it has had a big drop since, and that was on the earnings, of course. But if you look at the
yeah,
1 year daily, it's moving for a long time now sideways, and at least in my chart, the MACD is on the positive side again, and together with the RSI.
Yeah, I think I would need a few more days here while it's trading sideways to see if it's going to do anything. And the other thing too is just since it's generally in a downtrend, um, I would just think it needs something, some kind of catalyst or something to, because like if you zoom out to the weekly, like the weekly
Yeah.
shows like a much different story that like, yes, there's been these little like pops that you'll see on the daily that look good, but at the same time and overall, like this is like, why are you, I would wait until this starts to turn around before I go into something like this. You know,
Yeah.
why am I trying to? There's so many companies that are in uptrends and doing well that like, unless this gets, like I said, it's some kind of catalyst or all of a sudden they have good earnings or something like that, then sure, I'll be interested. But up until that point, um, just kind of to me looks like it's just too much of a downtrend.
Yeah.
The market,
The
the market doesn't
5-year,
believe in it.
the 5-year looks ugly, and I think it can take a little bit of time there before you see things start to turn around a little bit.
Yeah,
And like you said,
mean,
if you are on the look for a catalyst and then you see Microsoft selling out, that's not what you want.
right. And
I don't
then
know
and twice on the chart I see this. It looks like around, like if you look at 2022, you see that giant. Are you on the monthly one? Well,
No,
yours
I'm
you
on the
zoom out,
weekly.
right? Well, either way, on like in 22, there's like a huge downtrend, like a huge 1 month loss, and then it downtrends for a while, trades sideways. Same thing, 2023, about mid-year, huge drop, and then it trends all the way downwards. And now once again, we have a huge drop. So I would be nervous to think that there's any reason this is going to turn around from that until there's something that makes a narrative change here or something.
Yeah. But I do like the cash position.
I don't get me wrong, the country or the company has a great runway to go on here, and you know it might find a bottom and then be able to bounce off that because there's no reason it shouldn't be trading where it's like dead, but until it starts to get some earnings here, I just don't see it.
Yeah. Just want to
Like right
check
now, I
the
got
owners also.
83 cents for my tangible book. That's what I would say it's worth currently,
Yeah.
just because it doesn't have cash flows.
Yeah. And
And you know, I'm not saying on some of these pops you can't get something, but it's really tough. It is,
yeah.
like I said, this one to me, it's I don't know why you're shooting here if you're trying to pick picks.
Yeah. Like you said though, I didn't catch this initially when I saw it, but the fact that earnings is even, they've never had this bad over earnings this year
Right.
after that acquisition, and you know, after Microsoft sold out. So the story here is maybe in the wrong trend right now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, anything can turn around. So
Yeah. All right, let's go to TripAdvisor then. Next, Trip.
okay. I haven't looked at Trip in a minute.
Yeah. I think I pulled them up not too long ago on a stream, and you know, once again, a little bit of a weird chart. If you zoom out to the 5-year here, you've had a bounce up, and then now they are at the same level again, but some big drops lately.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
And both are
Yeah,
on the last earnings.
Last year, around November, it was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, here,
Yeah.
which is at the same level now. Um, but if you look at the last two earnings, it's just like either it came down to, I don't know these earnings, but I don't remember what I saw last time here. But they too have a big cash position. You know, it shows up as safe in the sheet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got their debt covered.
Yeah. And they have turned to positive earnings this year. They are generating cash flow as well, but it's not a lot though. But you know, still.
Yeah, and it looks like they haven't really affected their debt payments from what I see. So it looks like they're just running about that leverage rate. So
Yeah.
looks like it's like maybe like a third of their asset position is debt, which
Yeah.
I think that's pretty reasonable for a company like this. You know, I don't care about tangible book on TripAdvisor. Like that doesn't
No.
really. I actually I don't even think book metric or book value is like a good metric for this because it's really hard to kind of measure that.
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, they have the cash position. They are earnings positive. They're still generating cash flow. But I will say cash flow from operations has been going down. Not the worst that they've had, but like back in like 2014, 15, 16, they were generating really good cash. And now it's just not what it was. You
Yeah.
know, it looks like the whole business has been struggling for the past 5 years, which I know COVID's going to throw all those numbers off. So I don't really worry about those years, but
No, but also at the same time, you have enough years now that you should see some development. I can guess, or I guess you can argue that you do see developments here in the right way, but compared to before the pandemic, they're a bit off.
yeah, I think the same kind of story. This one just is anyone on Seeking saying anything? Like once again, I feel like this just kind of needs like some kind of something to start looking decent for it. Because right now, to me, it looks like it's just kind of slowly piddling out.
Yeah. There are a couple of strong buy articles and some hold articles. Jeffrey Fisher, I think we have seen him before, right? Oh,
So
they were
yeah,
investigating a sale and then they walked away from it. It seems like, which is that big drop.
his expectations, he says, remains a long haul investment. He's like, I won't be swayed much by quarterly results. So that doesn't, it's not what he's looking at.
Yeah,
Said it's summer, the Olympics, perfect marriage for travel revenues. On the day, TripAdvisor is set to announce its Q2 earnings August 6th after. So I guess that part of his thesis is definitely blown out of the water because the Olympics did not help them if their earnings were bad.
yeah,
Um, he said there's protesters in Spain. He thinks that they're facing much more reasonable comps, but so far it doesn't look like that. One thing he does say in his most recent comment is the market wasn't impressed with the results and shares are down 10% post Q2 earnings. I think investors are missing the boat, focusing mostly on the brand name of TripAdvisor. He's like Viator is Viator or Viator, which must have been an acquisition or part of the business. It said revenue growth was 13% and beginning in Q3 right now will become the largest segment of the company. Once investors begin to focus primarily on Viator, sentiment should improve.
yeah. He's also talking about uh, they are compensating the management a lot with shares here. Stock-based compensation has accounted for nearly 30% of TripAdvisor's operating cash flow over the past 2 years combined. That's
Everyone's saying the CEO should be fired.
Yeah.
And you know, Beach Trader, who I do appreciate Beach Trader, even though usually he's kind of against because he's much more he definitely shorts because he's always maybe he doesn't, but either way, he was saying he's like, you know, the growth is disappointing. You said 19%, it was only 13. he's like, the stock is cheap now because everyone's waiting for good news, which, I kind of agree on. That is the issue, is there's like I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but the fundamentals, like they can stay intact for a long time, and I've gotten I see this more and more, but no one really cares what the fundamentals are right now, because you always have to look forward. And if the narrative right now is that, like, nothing has changed, and every time someone says, "Oh, it looks like it's turning around," and it doesn't, well, then your narrative's broken. And I just see this to continue kind of working its way down.
Yeah. And I'm just checking the insiders now, and there's a ton of sales here, and it's interesting though because
And
there's
like
like a
RSI turned around, MACD turned around.
Huh?
Johnny, you're breaking up. That last sentence, I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm
No,
checking
you're
the
good.
insiders, and there's heaps of sales. But it's
Yikes.
also interesting to see, like, the two last purchases are above $20. So it has not been
Yeah,
very
we're a ways from
successful.
there too. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just don't see it right here. I have to disagree with Mr. Fisher here, and I don't see anything really making this turnaround.
Yeah. What do you think about the 1-year daily chart though?
I see my thing here is look back to like May. We had that big
Yeah.
drop after earnings. It had a
Yeah.
little bit of a return, and then it just traded sideways for a long
Sideways, yeah.
time. And then anytime that there was any kind of like move upwards, it didn't go anywhere, and it
No.
kept losing momentum. And like, see how weak the MACD is here? Like, yes, MACD turns positive, but like it's not doing anything. And same thing, I see it right now. I like this general uptrend we're in. I feel like we're at the peak of the uptrend right now. I literally feel like right now, even though it looks like it's kind of turned around a little bit, it's not really turned around at all. Like, we're about to drop again.
Yeah. Even if you go
So I don't know.
this,
There might be a little bit of a bounce here, but this is a little too. Like I said, I just don't. The news to me is way too negative for this.
yeah. And if you go back to, like you said, in November, and even if you exit in March at the very top here, it's not the biggest gain, It's you would be happy, of course, but it's not like any crazy moves up here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something that like is gonna, because like what I've been trying to do with this strategy lately, and the more I look at other swing traders, and really what the whole point of swing trading is you're looking for a catalyst or something that's going to cause a breakout, and then to ride that for as long as you can, essentially, um to help make sure that anytime that you do invest in something, that you capture a lot more upside, and anytime there's downside, you basically stop yourself out almost immediately. Like, it either works or it doesn't. um so, which obviously is a good strategy. Buy when it goes up and sell immediately if it goes down.
Yeah.
So that way you and sometimes, but I'd rather, I've gotten to the point now where I will much happily sell, like with Maxon, and even IMMR. Yes, IMMR's had this bounce back, but like I'm stuck in it because I'm down, which was my bad anyways, because that day I should have just checked the longer term stuff, and instead I still like the idea of IMMR. I think their BNet position's great, and I've liked the actual IMMR company anyways beforehand. I thought it was like a decent balance sheet and whatnot, but because they have cash and everything like that. But at the same time too, if I would have just looked at the longer term chart, I would have saw that the whole thing was breaking down and it was a terrible time to enter. So my bad, but whatever. It's just another thing that next time when I go to look at something, I'll always double check that real quick.
Yeah.
But but we'll see. I mean, I think I would look back to the weekly chart, because the weekly chart shows some of the bigger positive upswings in these things. When that starts to turn, I'll become more interested in looking at it, because that's gonna let you know that the when the daily starts to turn around, that like everything's starting to turn around. Otherwise, um, it just looks like we're in too much of a downtrend here.
Yeah. And I saw also there was some news here. FTC is cracking down on fake reviews and social media engagement. I'm not sure how much of that is going on TripAdvisor, but I assume it's a lot.
It could be, and I don't know if that's bullish for the business or not, because
No.
people like if you look at, if you go on a website and TripAdvisor, for instance, has like barely any reviews and stuff like that, makes you kind of be like, I don't know why I'm really using this. Where but obviously you need those to be good reviews. Like you want people who are, legitimate and sincere in what they're writing. You don't want just bots saying, well, yeah, this was great.
Yeah. No,
And
I
it's
agree.
tough. I mean,
It's a bit hard to comment if this is bullish or not for TripAdvisor, because they, at the same time, I assume they would lose a lot of if they strip down all the reviews that are fake, and like you said, you come in and there's nothing there, the service falls a little bit in value maybe for the customer.
well, and the thing that would make me nervous too is, okay, so say going forward, the FTC comes in here and says, okay, we're going to cut out a bunch of these fake reviews. Well, if all of a sudden TripAdvisor's like review count drastically drops, then most of their reviews were fake anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would think, and who knows, maybe the FTC comes in and they do like a sweep, and there's a bunch of companies that lose a lot of like fake reviews, but TripAdvisor kind of stays where it's at. I would think that then it means it's more bullish, because
Yeah.
it means it provides more legitimacy to the actual the review side of their business,
Yeah.
which I think is big, because it's not like everyone's using TripAdvisor. No matter what, you might use the website to look at things, but that doesn't mean like you're actively participating in it.
Yeah.
Do
No,
you
I
feel
agree.
like people in just because in the States, I feel like even though, there's been so much talk of how everyone's tightening because of inflation and all that, but I still feel like people are traveling. Most of the people I know, uh, and I feel like because of where I work, I see kind of a mix of, people who are extremely wealthy to very poor. Um, and just all around, it doesn't matter. It seems like everybody's still traveling. Do you find that in Europe it's similar?
um Um, yeah, I guess like people are still traveling for sure, and people love to travel here from where I'm from, and but also inside the country, there's a lot of traveling going on. But um, no, I don't think I've seen a slowdown in traveling. No, in Europe
Gotcha.
actually at all. And
I will.
there's been right now in summer there has been Tour de France, there has been the Olympics, there has been the Euros. Football Euros, like there's been a busy summer in terms of things going on in Europe, and people traveling to watch these events.
Yeah, I will say I was just looking, and I didn't really know what this Viator segment is, but just reading the description here, it's a comprehensive online marketplace that provides access to over 350,000 experiences and more than 55 experienced operators. I do think that's a more interesting business, because similar to like, like when you go to book like Airbnb, you're able to look at the area, you're able to um pick out your like what your thing is, and look into like good reviews on it. TripAdvisor, it might benefit them greatly to have a marketplace where, like, when I'm going somewhere, also I can book like anything I want to do in the area. And like, how like when you travel to a new place, you're always like, okay, what should I do here when I go here? Like, what's like the top 5 things to do? Well, if TripAdvisor was got into like a really good website about that, where it's like, "Hey, you should do this," and had like tips at what time to go, and like, things to watch out for, that kind of thing, I could see that becoming useful. And like if you booked it through TripAdvisor, like TripAdvisor's like, hey, these are the top 4 or 5 things to do for this small price. Like you pay, we'll get you into all these things, maybe with a discount because they'd be buying it in bulk. And you know, why not buy through them if you're going to get a discount and get to kind of have everything kind of set up for you?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting business model in my mind.
Yeah. But I feel like I've used them before a little bit to check reviews and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm just typing into Google, you know, and then there's a lot of competition too.
Right. Yeah, that's true. There is definitely competition in this space. Like
Yeah.
in the States, I know for restaurants, there's TripAdvisor, there's Yelp, there's I'm sure there's 2 or 3 other ones I'm not thinking of.
Yeah. So I'm not like I just go to the, you know, I usually I use a few different ones just to see if they match up all the information and stuff like that. But again, going back to the fake reviews, if TripAdvisor is you know more damaged by fake reviews than one of the competitors, it will fall drastically. I assume.
True. Phew. Sorry, my nose is. I'm like allergic to something here or something.
All right, you want to move to the next one then?
Yeah, give me just a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. What do you got next?
I think we should go to MVST because that I think I found that in the Daily Movers, not from my tracker sheet.
Microvast. Have you looked at them before?
No.
Me either.
A smaller company and like a little bit less than 100 million in market cap. It's not like the tiniest, but you know. What are they doing? They are design, develops, and manufacture battery system for electric vehicles and energy storage system. So it's in the industrial sector, and yeah, they sell parts for electrical equipment. So it's trading 12% to the 52-week low, and I need to see the balance sheet there because they are way below the book value.
Yeah, they do have the problem is they are wildly unprofitable and they're diluting shareholders. They're gonna have a tough time with their debt payment because they're burning through their cash really quick.
Yeah.
So I think this one looks like a beautiful falling knife.
Yeah.
They like they just aren't. They're not even generating cash flow.
No, they are not. But don't you see this a lot in this industry? I feel like you see a lot of similar companies.
EOS is one that I've been in and out of. That's kind of in a similar boat.
Yeah.
But once again, I mean, it just looks like it's a tough one. This is a tough one to play for sure.
So I assume, like, I just saw the balance sheet. I assume they have 520 almost in property, plant, and equipment. So I assume they have a factory or something where they produce everything, and that's why they are, you know, have a little bit on the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like anything else I'm seeing here. They don't make money. They have taken on debt and they are diluting. Revenue is up though, but they don't generate cash even. I will say one thing though, and the margins are going a little bit up. So this will be maybe this will be a profitable company in the future, but right now the way I look at it, it's like it's too early to go in here at least.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the reason why you see this trading at 29 cents is over the past 2 years, they've spent 3/4 of their capital. They had about 400 million in cash, and now they're down to 100 million. Their debt
Yeah,
levels stayed identical. They've increased their share count by about 15 million, 14 million.
yeah,
And they're still each year losing about 154 million. I mean, about, I don't know, anywhere over 100 million they're losing every year. I don't see how they have any way to get into profitability before this dies. I think you just and you're gonna watch. I mean, look at the book value. The book value in 2020 was $6.30, and now we're at $1.46. Um, and that's per share, and that's just my numbers. It's trailing 12 months, so it might not be super accurate compared to what your numbers are. But either way, this to me looks like it's a really, really risky investment.
yeah.
Not my
I
kind of thing.
I agree. And for me, you know, we are doing the charts and all that stuff, but for me, the way I do it, the fundamentals has to be in place, even for a swing trade for me.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll say is, I mean, don't get me wrong, stuff because of in terms of fundamentals, the only time that it's not going to really correlate is when there's a ton of growth and like the multiples are kind of crazy because like you and I look at pretty conservative multiples. So sometimes it looks like stuff's just really overpriced and we're like, how is it so expensive? And the reason why is because there's so many growth investors out there and momentum investors that like some of this stuff just gets so overbought that it trends super high. And then in the long run, the fundamentals will catch up to it. And that's what Buffett and all the guys say anyways. You just see it happening. But
Yeah,
but in the meantime, they can do some crazy moves. But this is at the other point of its life where it's almost dead. And when it's almost dead and doesn't have any kind of like I mean, besides the only thing I could see that would someone would come in here is someone likes the technology and comes in to buy it. That's the only chance this company has.
yeah,
Other than
and
that, the other thing too is like who's going to come in here and want to buy this company when it's dying this much? It's taking on debt. You know what I mean? Like is it really worth it? Maybe at some stupidly low price, but no matter what, enterprise value is 200 million. So, I mean, you still have to come in here and pay a lot, even though it's only 29 cents. There's just too much debt and too much equity.
yeah,
Like they better have a really promising business or patents or something. And I mean, like you said, it's down and you're gonna see days where it pops like a decent amount. Like, we had a 7% pop on Friday, but that 7% pop is also surrounded by 3, 4, 5% loss days constantly.
yeah, yeah. I didn't like this one, and even if it's a 93 market cap, and I guess the price is very low now, 29 cents, but it's only a 8% short position. I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe it was higher recently. But I think you see some crazy short interest in companies that look way better than this one.
And this is a company to me that, if my portfolio was bigger, I might take some small shorts on things just to,
Yeah,
just to take advantage of it. But this wouldn't even be one I'd short. Like the one I would short is like something that has like a stupid up move, for kind of no reason, or even if there is a reason, something that jumps like 300% in a day. Like that's where it comes interesting to me to short because like there's a good chance that pulls back. Like that's such an overdrawn day. There's not many things that
yeah.
can jump like in the course of a week 500%. So those are the kind of things like this shorting way down here. That's how you get short squeezed. That's the
A
other
year
thing this
ago
company
it
could
was
have.
a year ago it was a $3.
Right, which I mean that's terrifying to me that this is a tenth of what it was worth just a year ago.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I didn't like this one. I know you have looked at this one, LESL.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, was it, that I looked at this?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's in the tracker or if I found it in the movers. Yeah, it's from the daily movers, this one.
Yeah, let me just update my stuff, see where I'm at with this one.
So this is like operates as a direct-to-consumer pool and spa care brand in the United States. Maybe we pulled it up on a weekend stream, I think, not too long ago.
Okay, yeah, okay.
There's been some insiders recently. Actually, quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the chart, I mean, the insider's definitely interesting. It looks like we're a little bit away from where I could see this turning around. I'm assuming they must have a ton of leases because literally almost their entire debt is the same as their assets. Like they essentially run a pretty tight business in terms of the actual revenues and whatnot, and like their actual cash, but um, most of it must be leases.
No, I don't think it is, Dane. It says 216 is operating lease liabilities, and then long-term debt is 770 almost.
Ugh, well then, that's what I was hoping for. That's not what. That's what I'm not hoping for. Is that?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Let me keep looking through here.
They
Because
have a
then
term
that's a
loan.
lot of debt for this kind of a company.
Yeah. 8.19% interest rate on 783 million in a term loan.
Right. 8% is pretty high too.
Yeah, it is.
They do have a
And when is
revolving
this
credit
due?
facility that they haven't touched, but
This is due in 28.
yeah, so they do have a long runway until
Yeah.
and obviously they could restructure that loan as they get closer to that. So I don't think the debt is immediately concerning by any means. What's more concerning is why are earnings so down this last year?
Yeah.
They've had a negative book value because of all that debt this whole time, so it's quite levered.
20% up yesterday, though.
So
And
was
that
there
was
news?
on insider buys.
Yeah, but if that's mostly the insiders, like great, they can buy all they want. That doesn't mean I buy. Like,
No.
that's great that people buy the dip, but if there's no reason, I don't know. I'm wondering.
This guy is saying long-term trend is down for an operation like this. Think GameStop, but without the memes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, you can buy all you want, but there's nothing here. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's that it's like a bad business or anything. And like I agree that yeah, they have a long time until that debt's due, but the problem is historically they were at least generating a decent amount of money, at least during COVID, it looks like. But now that COVID's maybe over, maybe everybody kind of got their pools and stuff installed, and now we're back to that period where it's going to be pretty slow growth for them. Their margins are down. The only thing I see that makes me kind of more interested in this is the insider, but that means very little to me in the context of everything else.
Yeah, I agree. And as you like to see this inside buying, of course, you need to put it into context. And also, even if this was good to see, we are not talking about any crazy numbers here. Yeah, don't get me wrong, this is a lot of money, but it's still less than $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, it's annoying today because I feel like a bunch of these have just kind of been downtrenders to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna
And
add
yeah,
this
I mean,
to.
I will say I will say the news is bullish that the insiders bought there. Because maybe that'll set a floor for the stock price. Maybe that's what their goal was to say like, hey, we know that we're in a rough spot here. Are they saying anything? Like, what was the transcript? That's like the only thing I can think from this is and the other thing too. So did you see on August 26th, Leslie's taps Jason McDonald from Advanced Auto Parts for
Yeah.
CEO job? So it looks like they're trying to get some kind of different management in there. But to be honest, Advanced Auto Parts has been struggling as well. Yeah, and this guy that commented on that article said that, during EGEC, who is apparently the CEO, the stock went from $28 to $3 during his tenure.
If you look at his purchase in February 2022, he bought shares for 2 million, approximately around $19.
Yeah, it's not great timing.
Yeah. And then he bought again a year ago for 346 at $7.
Yeah, and the other thing that kind of terrifies me and makes me think that this is these are people who really knew the business, was that Bubbles Investor Aggregator LP, who is a 10% owner, sold their entire stake of 112 million at the end of 2022, which makes me think that they kind of saw that this was headed for like a long downtrend.
If you go down a little bit more down, Dayne, they sold in position like portions,
Yeah. But either
for
way, that
big
to me
sums.
is like the final draw. Like they're like, all right, like start cutting this position.
But to say that too, though, this EGEC guy also sold for a lot of money, around $30. So he has probably made a lot of money on this company.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything good to me, though.
No, that was kind of my point. Like, but to pull in his buying now for these smaller sums, when he sold he sold for 15 million in 21. And then he buys now for 350. That, like, to put it again into context, it's not very meaningful then, is it?
No, no, it's not.
No.
Yeah,
no.
just another tough one.
Huh?
I said just another tough one.
Yeah, no, I didn't like this either. I've done research on them before, and they are still not in the tracker. This also has a 13% short interest.
And probably for good reason.
Yeah. I have 2 tickers left. The one we know from before, CLAR, CLAR, and the other one is GSM. You prefer one of them?
I mean, I feel like I did Claris Corporation not that long ago, but we can look at both. I mean, some of these are been a little bit quicker. They haven't been like super long to check out. So
yeah.
Sorry, I feel like my face is like totally in my laptop here because it's so much harder to see on this tinier screen. So
Yeah.
I apologize on this entire stream if it looks like my face is in the camera.
It's hard to live a life on a boat.
This damn boat life.
Yeah. Yeah, so CLAR, both of these are in my tracker sheet already. So the fundamentals are, decent. But I'm not sure when I added CLAR. Let's check here. Yeah, I added CLAR in May this year, and they have actually dropped quite a bit, which is kind of why I pulled them up here. I want to revisit. They've almost dropped 40% since I added them.
They paid all their debt off, huh?
Yeah, and it seems like maybe they paid it off with this asset sale here. because they also got a bump
They're-
up in the cash.
But you are right, man. They are in a real downtrend in the past 2 years here.
Right now they are 3% to the 52-week low. But look at the operating business. Is what do you get for operating cash flow and free cash flow here?
For the trailing 12,
Yeah.
I got -2 cents for operations and free cash flow at -17 cents a share.
Yeah, I have very similar numbers. So they need to do they need to do something about this, right?
Yeah, I mean, last year, so they burnt a ton of money last year, and this year it looks like the only reason that they were actually any bit positive is because of the asset sale.
Yeah.
So they paid their debt off with the asset sale, but also too now, like, I would think that means in the future that revenues are going to drastically go down, but maybe they'll stay profitable down there. So maybe this stock, they might have shrunk the business, but maybe they kept the best part of it, is what I would hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They are paying this stupid dividend. I don't think they should do that in this environment.
I wonder at this point, well, they definitely don't have the cash to be paying. I mean, they've held that 10-cent dividend for a long time, so
Yeah.
maybe they, I don't know, they they don't want to lose the dividend investors. A lot of times it's like that's such a BS reason to hold it. The stock price at $4
Yeah.
with a 10-cent dividend. I don't even know who's holding it for a 10-cent dividend at that point.
Oh, they have filed a lawsuit against some swing traders, it seems like.
Against swing traders? Oh, damn it. I
Yeah.
should stay away from this one. They're gonna come after me for but to be honest, even as a swing trader, I don't like I said, I'm not in the position to swing downwards, so I'm not shorting companies right now. So
No, because they are
if
saying
anything,
like,
I'm the swing trader you want.
yeah, yeah. They are saying like for recovery of short swing profits.
Yeah, but that goes to show you that like if your company's really good, even if you're a swing trader, the swing traders go into things because they're in an uptrend, not because if your business is good and it turns into an uptrend, that's because that's when a swing trader jumps on anyways. So
Yeah.
even if they're taking, even if they're just part of that jump, they're helping push the price up in general. And then even if they do get out at the top, so does everybody. I mean, everybody buys low and sells high. That's the whole point. So
Yeah.
no matter what, I would have a hard time arguing that a swing trader is your issue. You could argue someone scalping is, but
Yeah.
here's an idea: run your business better.
Yeah. No, but I didn't read through this whole thing, but I think it was something I don't understand this language. You would have to read it then, but it's not a big deal though. What I was trying to find was this asset sale to see if they like you said, like they kept the good part of the business and got rid of some losing asset, you know.
Yeah. It does say through strategic initiatives in place, Claris has set a target to grow their sales by more than 30% through 2026 with a higher cash flow conversion and ramp up earnings. So I think whatever they did sell, which I don't know why I can't find what it was.
Yeah, I have it here. They sold.
Oh, the Black Diamond. Okay, yeah. I remember this. Okay. So that's right. They're just trying. Yeah, they're trying to take advantage of a few brand names that they really enjoy. Yes. Okay. I just had to place where I was with this company. I definitely went through these guys maybe like a month or two ago. Yeah. So the story here still is just can they take those few product brands and really push them?
And I have to say, I kind of like that. What did the chart do on that news? This was in This was in February, end of February.
I gotta zoom out a little bit. It looks like February they had a decent little pop, which it reached to like 657, and then since then though, it's nothing is turned around in the business. No earnings, like that they said, hey, this is our guidance going forward. What they really need is just a few quarters to prove that they're performing and actually executing on that.
Yeah. They
Once they can
got a
execute
big
on it'll be there.
they got a big bounce up on the earnings straight after the news about that asset sale and that they were gonna use the money to pay off the debt. But since then,
Well, that's huge too.
it hasn't gone the right way for them.
Yeah, but what it really does for the company is they don't have any debt right now, so they have a decent runway. They have a decent cash position, so we'll see. They just need to really start generating. I think the business has a chance to go for a while, but in terms of seeing the stock price turn around, they have to do something in terms of getting people excited about the products and starting to execute on actual sales. Like if I think this one's kind of interesting because if you look, it's trading right around kind of book value, and it's tangible book or it's regular tangible book value. Its regular book value is around $8 a share I get. And if they could start to perform well, that brand name could be worth that extra $4 of cash and bump this up. But they have to
Yeah.
prove that.
Do you know who this guy is? Candace Warren?
I feel like I looked them up when I looked at this company last,
Yeah.
but I don't remember.
He's a big owner.
I'm just trying to pull up the Well Wisdom page here. Yeah, I mean, there is some owners of this company,
Yeah.
but also nothing too crazy.
Oh, and that's that Warren guy. He only owned this one, and then the firm he runs. So I don't know that guy.
All right. Yeah, I think that's where I stand with this one.
Yeah. And it seems
I don't
like
see any
this
reason to get
director is
too interested yet.
buying. Sorry.
I said I just don't see any reason to get too interested just yet.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the balance sheet's great, but they need to turn around.
Yeah, and going back to the fundamentals again, especially when they had that asset sale, also like how's the business going to look like moving forward now? I don't want to jump in too early, even in something like that, and I want to give them some time to stabilize themselves a bit and maybe go through some of the earnings report in the future, see how it's going. But it does trade close to the 52-week low here.
Yeah, but my worry too is that it could trade sideways for a while too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Sideways and kind of down.
And let's say they, I don't see they are a bit stuck with the dividend, right? Because if they drop the dividend now, it's gonna send the share price down further.
Yeah, I wonder a lot of that ownership. I wonder if they the owners are pushing to keep that dividend there, because
Yeah.
otherwise that could really take away from their investment, especially since a lot of them have been holding, so they're already down. So the dividend maybe keeps them interested in it.
Yeah.
So I kind of I see what you're saying, but that's the problem, is these companies get in such a tight space with these stupid dividends.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to cut it, but then it becomes obvious that it's worth cutting.
Yeah. And I don't think they will do that. So I agree with that. I can see this going sideways for a bit, and something needs to happen to generate more cash here. So now they are in my tracker sheet, but I have to wait a little bit to be interested in this, even if it now trades close to the 52-week low.
Right.
All right, you have time for one more, or?
Yeah, we can pull it up even if we can't go too crazy. This is GSM's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which is once again in my tracker sheet. They trade 4% to the 52-week low, and actually, according to my data, the inside ownership is almost at 50% here. So that's a big inside ownership.
Sounds good.
I need to check that, because my data sometimes is inaccurate. Oh no, is this a? Oh, this is a UK company. So I can't pull up the SEC information.
Like when you go to the SEC website, or for your
Yeah,
financial
SEC
statement?
website. Because I was gonna check the ownership.
Oh, there's not a 13 def, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Or 14, not 13.
But on the fundamental
me.
though, it's like they are right at book value, or around book value here, and they do generate both positive operating cash flow and free cash flow. It has actually gone up since last year. Little bit, you see this sneaky dilution. The share count is up a little bit every year, and maybe I don't know if it's like due to the some kind of compensation or whatever, but I also see they have paid off a lot of the debt.
Sounds like I was gonna say, that sounds like a cool band name, Sneaky Dilution.
Sorry?
I said that sounds like a cool band name, Sneaky Dilution.
Sneaky Delusion, yeah. You heard it here. I will copyright that name.
If we ever make our own music for the stream, that's what we'll call ourselves.
Yeah. Performed by Sneaky Delusion.
I mean, they've been paying their debt down pretty good. I like to see that. Their cash position's pretty good. It looks like we might be headed into a rougher cyclical part of the business. It just looks like it's kind of in a little bit of a downtrend.
Yeah. And
sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, it seems like in the last 3 years, yeah, I kind of like the numbers here in the fundamental sheet. But I see that revenue has gotten a hit.
It's definitely interesting for a swing trading environment. This company really goes up and down.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like the weekly chart, like it really is bouncing Now, I mean, it's not bouncing crazy. It's between like the $4 and $6 mark, but I mean, it does it pretty consistently.
Yeah, it actually does. And if you can catch, let's say you can catch a couple of those.
You know, otherwise, overall, company's been kind of flat to a slight downtrend, I would argue. But I would say in terms of this one's actually in an interesting spot.
Yeah. What are the news though? There's a lot of buy articles.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like of all the ones we looked at today, this one, at least on a chart basis, looks the most interesting to me.
Yeah. In the beginning of August, they had a beat on earnings.
I mean, the margins the past 2 years have been excellent.
He's saying like they have authorized a share buyback, but at the same time they started to dilute shareholders. Yeah, they are saying the same, like possibly stock options to employees and management. But the plan then, I guess, it's to buy back a lot of these shares eventually. Look, this guy is doing what we said. Like, I bought 500 shares at 4 in May 23 and rode it up and rode it back down again. I don't know what I was waiting for, but I got a gain of almost 70%. So he kind of hit that the bounce up that we were seeing on the chart.
Yeah, and it does it pretty consistently. So, like I said, this one's definitely interesting. This catches my eye as a swing trader. It looks like a decent setup.
Yeah. And where we are right now, it's if you go back to March 24, you see a lot of similarities.
Yeah, and just having the earnings beat right here, it kind of looks like it's fuel for a catalyst here.
Yeah. And I like the fundamentals. The fundamentals are good, in my opinion. There's a lot of things in the sheet that I'm looking at here that I like. You know, nothing worries me too much with this business.
Yeah, the only thing that looks down to me a little bit is the revenues, which but the margins are good. They're paying a massive dividend of 3 cents.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a joke in case anyone didn't get that. Cash flow looks good. Like I said, their debt position to me is very.
They even have a
reasonable.
little bit of cash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the balance sheet looks very clean to me. This one I like. I like this one. This is the of all the ones we looked at today.
Yes, we found one.
This is Ranger Dayne's pick of the week.
Yeah. I put it in the description for today's stream. Will the guys find the one? And I think GSM is the one, right?
Right now, I like this.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is the most interesting one I found. And yeah, like, do I think it's going to be like a multi-bagger? No,
no.
But I think there's possibility right here for like a decent breakout. And like I said, fundamentally, everything looks pretty sound. We're at the low part of what looks like a low cycle to me. I think reasonably priced book value wise. And in terms of cash flow, we're talking $1.17 a share for operations and 74 cents for free cash flow. $4 is cheap.
Yeah. I added them because I have them in tracker. I added them like in April 23, and the share price since then is just up 2%. I just wrote in my comments back then that it is a UK company, so therefore I'm not 100% sure of my numbers in my sheet, but I think they are accurate because they did match up with yours now.
No, it's got to be.
Yeah, but I mean, I
it's
was
not
also
like-
saying like I would like this to drop towards 4, and it hasn't had a pullback in those years that I've been following it, but it has gone up till 6 and then down again. So yeah, no, I agree that this is interesting, but I need to check more into it. I think.
Yeah, well, like I said, I would watch here for a possible breakout just because it might take a few more days, maybe another week. But
Yeah.
if this trends sideways, I could see this breakout right here. It looks good to me.
Yeah.
This setup right now that's on the chart, if you pull that chart up, it
Yeah.
looks this is what I look for. You know, it had a big kind of increase in the past few months. It's pulled back now, and it looks like it's condensing. And now it looks like a bunch of I see almost every bullish indicator I can see. You know, it looks like MACD's turning, RSI's turning, stochastic's turning. And it's approaching some of the 10-day and 20-day moving averages. Those are all bullish signs to me.
Yeah.
All right, there's like I said, that's my pick for the week. We'll see.
Yeah. Yes, we found one. I was a bit frustrated because on Thursday also on my stream I didn't find much. But what I will say though is, you know, our universe of stocks that we follow now is pretty big. So even if we don't pull up some interesting ones on the stream, there are a ton of tickers that I pay attention to closely. So it's not like we don't see anything.
I've been rebuilding out my watch list. So, you know, each morning, if I kind of check it before work, and if I see something that looks like it's kind of interesting, I mark it down to like a really narrow list. So then when the market opens, I can try and check, and I see if anything looks like it's going to start to take off, and if it does, that's kind of where I'm going to initiate my buy. And then from there, I keep a pretty tight. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep a tight stop loss. If it pulls back from where I entered in, I'll get out. And if it continues up, then it should, based on, like I said, what, you know, either the narrative, the fundamentals, or just the chart, it should kind of ride up. And then from there, I keep kind of using a few different things to bump up my stop loss. So that way you kind of lock in gains, and you also really eliminate the downside. And I know I had to talk to you, Johnny, just before I got to get off here, but like I said, I feel like if I keep it to like anywhere from like 5 to 10 stocks, and you know, I might hold a little bit more than that, maybe if it's something that's still riding up and I just don't want to sell it yet. But in terms of like how often I'm like buying stocks, you know, I feel like if I keep it between 5 and 10 ones that I'm entering into, it's just going to limit the downside. So then that way you know, there's so many things that are moving. Like I keep, I think it's a good way to hedge my downside risk.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree. I've always been aiming for up towards 10 at any given time, you know, but my first goal is to get 5 in that I really like. And then I will try to keep it like between 5 and 10. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I do got to get going.
Yeah, same. So yeah, at least we found one. And by the way, if anyone has some suggestions to what they want to see in the Discord channel, let us know in the comments or however you can reach us, and we will try to. I'm sure it will develop as we go also, and I hope all the people who are watching will come in to join the Discord channel. But it's just you know, something to add to what we are trying to do here. So I think it will be good to have, and we are aiming to you know, publish it in a week's time or so. We just need to go through everything together and see that you know, it is like we want it to be. So
yeah. No, I agree. And also too, just as a disclaimer, please don't buy GSM on Monday just because I said I like it.
Yeah.
Please do your own due diligence
Yeah.
and do your own work. That does not guarantee I will buy it either. So just
Yeah.
want to say that.
Yeah. Just quickly, Dane, did you see Alto is below 140?
Yeah, I got it tracked. I'm watching it. Also, see, this is another one where I feel like right now the market just doesn't trust it yet.
No.
You know, I see, and I know why. I know why. Um, so I'm watching it tightly, but at this point, you know, I would even argue as well that the fundamentals are kind of saying to just hang on a little bit. Like it's
Yeah.
not quite there yet.
Yeah. I have my cash. I'm I want to add a new ticker, but Alto like keeps it speaks to me. I need to add more, I think, but let's see how it goes. I'm not sure. I don't think I will do it. I think I will add another company eventually, but I mean, if it goes down to 130 again in this environment, it's an opportunity in my eyes.
Yeah, no, we've said fundamentally, I think 130 is a pretty good floor. I mean, we've seen it get into the 20s, but
Yeah.
you know, the 20s is where it's really going to become interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what it does.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's going to trade sideways until Q3. It
Yeah.
might pick up before Q3 as people start to anticipate decent earnings.
Yeah.
So I think we got probably another month before that move starts to happen, and then this is one of those ones that you know, it just takes one good earnings report before it could become, you know, a parabolic jump, you know,
I'm
kind of just like you know, as it pivots to a positive earnings scheme. But we'll see.
one of
We'll see
my
what ends up happening.
One of my worst days as an investor is almost now 1 year ago when I went to bed. It's the only time I haven't watched the actual earnings call for Alto, and everyone expected it to like kill it. And I went to bed. I said to you, text me in the morning and tell me what you saw. And then I woke up and it was like down 40%, and then ended down 60%. One of my worst days as an investor was then, so I'm gonna be scared to sleep that day now. So
Well, that's how you build grit. You gotta get punched in the gut a few times before you
Yeah.
realize that, like, you know, wake up, start really focusing, because you know the market does not give a shit about you. You know, they're
Yeah.
trying to take your money. So
Yeah.
it's a dog eat dog world in the markets, and
For sure.
you
But
got to just learn to accept it.
I'm praying for no more fires, and I think Q3 will deliver.
Yeah, well, like I said, the margin numbers look fantastic for Crush.
Yeah, they
so
do.
We got that going.
And like I said on Thursday, like it went up to 5 based on those margins numbers, and right now we are way above it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're in the States, happy Labor Day. To everybody else, just enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, we will see you on Tuesday.
I believe so. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's
You said
any
it was a
reason
day
I
off on
won't.
Monday, right?
Yeah. Monday the markets are closed. So next
Yeah.
week will be a short week. So either way, I'll update on Tuesday. We'll see. Like I said, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on GSM. And this is why I say the Discord server will be fun, because, for instance, on Tuesday, if the markets open up and GSM does jump, for instance, and let's say I took a position, I would alert people and say, hey, I did take a position in this, just so you guys know. And once again, that's not telling you to take a position, but I'm just letting you know I did, so you can kind of see where my head's at, and then if it works out or not, because the goal is to show you when it works.
Yeah, it's an effort to be even more transparent that we have been, because there are some days that people are left in the dark a bit. So it's just a nice way to keep in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
See ya.